lecture. See, in my previous lecture, I have discussed with you production system, requirements for control strategy, and the third thing was the two control strategy, that was breadth first search and depth first search for water jug problem. So in my today's lecture, I would be continuing with a new topic, the same chapter, problem solving, that is heuristic search and heuristic function, and then we will go for problem characteristics. At last, after completing the problem characteristics, I will summarize this chapter, problem solving, and we will be completing this chapter 2 from your book. So for this today, I have planned one extra lecture to complete this chapter number 2, so that for your unit test, at least from my section, 2 chapters can be present. So extra lecture is at 2:50 and all of you have to attend that extra lecture. The topic would not be taught to you again in the regular lecture. So 2:50 everybody needs to attend the lecture. 3:30 the lecture would be completed. So no more extra times will be there. Okay. Starting with the heuristic function and heuristic search. You need to concentrate while I'm speaking to you about the heuristic, because that topic is not given in any book or something. But before starting problem characteristics, I just need to get it with you. So what is actually heuristic? Nowadays we need that meta heuristic algorithms are used, heuristic algorithms are used, heuristic this, heuristic, what are the heuristics? So what is actually the meaning of this word heuristic? This word has its origin from the Greek word that is eureka, and it means that I'm discovering something or I have found something. In context of your artificial intelligence, this particular word heuristic means that this number of steps I'm away from my goal state. You will be having some kind of estimate, or you would be having some kind of approximation that this many number of steps I'm away from my goal state. Heuristic search means that compared to this, let me give you a real life example. See, from home, I ask you people to go to a location. And when you are starting from home to this unknown location, you will go notice things on the road that are present on road. You will mark landmarks, okay, and to reach the destination. Suppose it is taking you 1 hour from going from home to this particular unknown location. So this is the kind of blind search. You don't know where you will end up. You might reach the destination, you might not reach the destination, and you don't know after what time you will reach the destination. So from home to this destination, when you are reaching at this destination, you know that it took me 1 hour from reaching from my home to this unknown location. Now what is going to happen? Now I give you the task that from this unknown location you have to go to home. So now something will be clear in your mind. You know the path, that how from this unknown location I need to move to a known location. You have marked landmarks in your mind. You know it took me 1 hour to reach over this particular location. I have lost ways and anything. But from now I know I need to, which path I need to follow. So from this unknown location to home, it might take you, instead of 1 hour, it might take you 45 minutes only. So 15 minutes somewhere it is, and you have some kind of approximation that यहाँ से घर से यहाँ आने के लिए 1 घंटा लगा, रास्ता नहीं पता था इसके लिए 1 घंटा लगा, अब तो रास्ता पता है, अब तो 45 मिनट्स में पहुंच जाऊंगा. ऐसा हम लोग बहुत बार करते थे लाइफ में. So going from home to unknown location, it is like a blind search that we did with breadth first search and depth first search. And now we are going to do with the heuristic search. It is like going from unknown location to the home. That is the scenario of heuristic. That means you would be having some kind of estimation. Another example of Google Map. From this particular location, from your home, if you want to go to location, Google gives you multiple options that if you took car, it will take this. If you took bike, then this many minutes. If you took this route, one with the traffic, one with the shortest route, every estimation is given to you. Approximately 25 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and 1 hour. That is given to you. Now, based on the approximation, you people choose that which path I need to follow. So what is this approximation or estimate? This you providing the information 25 minutes, 15 minutes, this 25, 15, these are all heuristic values. This is some kind of estimation that I am away from my goal state 25 minutes. So you have some kind of estimation or approximation that this number of steps I am away from my goal state. That is what is the concept of heuristic. Now for heuristic function, I would like everybody to concentrate on my screen. We will just derive a heuristic function and I'm going to ask you for I'm just sharing this one, okay? Right now. Do concentrate on this because this is going to be asking your exam that for a problem statement, you people will be asked to derive the heuristic function. That is what you must learn. See, here we are with the traveling salesman problem. I will tell you what is a traveling salesman problem. Okay. So in a traveling salesman problem, what happens that a salesman, okay, traveling salesman problem, a salesman has to visit a list of cities. So in front of you, you are having a table. This many cities a salesman needs to visit. Okay. Now there is one rule. Each city must be visited exactly once. So if you are going from Boston to New York, okay, and then you go to Miami, then you cannot go to Miami to New York because that makes you visit New York 2 times. Okay, so each city must be visited exactly once. There are direct roads between each pair of cities on the list. And the route of the salesman should follow the shortest possible route, round trip, that starts and finishes at one city. So the problem says that if you are starting with Boston, you have to visit every city and it must end at Boston only. If you are starting with New York, then you have to visit Boston, Miami, Dallas, San Francisco, and it should end at the New York also. So now what is given with us that this is the distance value. Now our task is to find the shortest route. The problem is in front of us. एक salesman है. The salesman, see, there is one salesman and the salesman needs to visit each and every city. Rule is that the salesman can visit city only one. और start जहाँ से क्या है वहीं पे उसको stop करना है. So let's just try a basic solution where we don't use to need any of format. See, this is a distance table given to you. So Boston to New York travel करने के लिए 250 kilometers लगते हैं. Boston to Miami travel करने के लिए 1450 लिखते हैं. Boston to Dallas travel करने के लिए 1700 लगते हैं. And Boston to San Francisco 3000 kilometers लगते हैं. So now I use a basic technique over here. Just the most lame technique I will use. मैं start कर रही हूँ Boston से, whichever distance is मुझे कम लग रहा है, I will go to visit that city first. So I'm traveling to, now I'm moving from Boston to New York. Because you see the first row, only New York is having the less distance, that is 250. So now let's start calculating how much distance I need to travel. Okay. So first is 250. Okay. Boston का तो हो गया. Boston to New York, it is done. Now New York. So now we are currently at New York. अब मुझे travel करना है next city, but it shouldn't be Boston. Okay, so I am eliminating Boston. So out of Miami, Dallas, and San Francisco, I find Miami is having the 1200 kilometers. Okay, so 1200 kilometers I add. From Miami, we have to travel to Boston and New York is out of now Dallas and San Francisco. So 1600 Dallas is what they think I see the lesser distance. Add it. Okay, add कर दिया 1600. Then from Dallas to San Francisco, because Boston, New York, Miami हमने travel कर लिया, अब Dallas to San Francisco ही हमें travel करना. So Dallas to San Francisco, it takes us Dallas to San Francisco, it takes us 1700 kilometers. So 1700 kilometers I have it. And now we have to go back to the Boston. So from San Francisco to Boston, it takes 3000 kilometers. So I get this particular distance as a calculation. If I take initial city as Boston. So this is what we did. We just used heuristic function concept. See this you people adding, okay? This you people adding this particular thing, that 250 plus you added 1200, then it was 1600. Then it was 1700. And last it was 3000. Okay. So if I want to map this into a function, it is very easy. What is sigma x and n, where x is equal to 1 to 5. That is what we can do. Okay. So x is equals to 1 to 5 sigma x. What we are doing over here, we are just taking the summation. And I can summarize this as a function. Sigma x. That is what I am doing over here. Another example of heuristic function. Okay. This was a very, see here, there were many solutions. Okay. One was you can go from Boston to San Francisco, also New York. There are n number of solutions for this traveling salesman problem. But to tell which one is the best solution, the best solution is where we get sigma x is equals to less. The total distance we get less. That is the best. That is 7750 out of this solution. So the second solution is best compared to the first one. But as there are many solutions to this particular problem possible, this heuristic function helps you to pick out which one of this solution is the best one. Okay, which one is the optimal one. Now another example of this particular heuristic function. See, I'm asking you to write a heuristic function for this 8 puzzle problem. Here is the start state, here is the goal state. Now as a human, we could be having some kind of approximation in our mind that this is my start state and this is my goal state. It will take 4 or 5 steps to me to reach my goal state. But how my mind calculated this, that I would be this much away from my goal state? Anybody would like to answer me for that? Anybody?
मिसप्लेस टाइल्स कैलकुलेट कर सकता है.
सही है. See, the heuristic function for this is that if you calculate the number of misplaced tiles, let me explain you with the help of one diagram. Okay? See, the heuristic function for 8 puzzle problem is there are 3. Okay, let's see the basic one, and later on when we will be seeing more algorithms for solving this problem. We will see the later on functions. Okay, is you just calculate the number of misplaced number tiles. जो टाइल्स अपनी जगह पे नहीं है उसका +1, जो टाइल्स अपनी जगह पे है उसका कुछ नहीं. जैसे कि 5 है जो अपनी जगह पे नहीं है तो +1, 2 है वो अपनी जगह पे नहीं है +1, 3 है अपनी जगह पे नहीं है +1, 8 1 6 अपनी जगह पे नहीं है, 8 1 6 अपनी जगह पे नहीं है, ब्लैंक है वो भी अपनी जगह पे नहीं है. कौन सी टाइल्स अपनी जगह पे है? 4 और 7. वो सिर्फ 2 टाइल्स ऐसी है जो अपनी जगह पे है 8 पजल प्रॉब्लम में. ठीक है, बाकी हर एक टाइल्स अपनी जगह पे नहीं. तो 6 टाइल्स ऐसी है जो अपनी जगह पे नहीं है, तो उसके लिए 6 हमारा ह्यूरिस्टिक को स्कोर रहता है. सो यहाँ पे हमने ह्यूरिस्टिक फंक्शन कैसे लिखा, नंबर ऑफ मिसप्लेस नंबर टाइप्स। अगर मैं यहाँ पे किसी को स्लाइड करती हूँ तो ये फंक्शन वैल्यू चेंज होगी क्योंकि नंबर ऑफ मिसप्लेस टाइप्स चेंज हो जाएगा वहां पे, ठीक है। तो अगर मैं 2 को यहाँ पे फर्स्ट एग्जांपल में 2 को स्लाइड अप करती हूँ तो 2 अपनी जगह पे हो जाएगा, तो ये वैल्यू 6 से होके 5 हो जाएगी। So that is heuristic function that tells you that you are this many steps away from your goals, and it is always estimation and approximation. अगर मैं बोल रही हूँ 25 मिनट में पहुंचूंगी, that is doesn't guarantee मैं 25 मिनट में ही पहुंचने वाली हूँ. This is approximate time. So it is always approximation and the estimation. It is never a deterministic value. Clear about heuristic function and heuristic search? Doubt any students? आपका नो सुनाई दिया मुझे लैब में से, और किसी का?
नो मैम।
सो मैं इसकी डेफिनेशन रीड कर देती हूँ जो आपकी बुक में है, आपको उसको हाईलाइट कर लेना और एग्जाम में अगर पूछी जाए 1 मार्क के लिए तो आंसर कर देना। A heuristic function is a function that maps the problem state descriptions to measures of desirability, usually represented as numbers. चलो ये डेफिनेशन तो है, हमने पढ़ लेंगे बुक में से। एप्लीकेशन क्या है? See, basically this heuristic search and heuristic functions are used in optimization problem. Okay, where this optimization problem can be anything. Okay, any real life problem. आपको कोई भी, आपके पास 10 सॉल्यूशंस है, लेकिन आपको सिर्फ ये जानना है कि मेरे पास 10 सॉल्यूशन में से बेस्ट सॉल्यूशन कौन सा है, तो ह्यूरिस्टिक एक ऐसी चीज है जो आपको कर देगा। मेरा खुद का एक ह्यूरिस्टिक, मैंने एक थीसिस लिखे थे मेरे मास्टर्स में ह्यूरिस्टिक सर्च एल्गोरिथम का। अब वो एप्लीकेशन क्या था मैं आपको बताती हूँ। आई वाज वर्किंग इन अ कंपनी एंड आई हैव टू राइट अ क्वेरी जहाँ 700 टेबल्स के बीच में एक जॉइन लगता था। 700 टेबल्स के बीच में एक जॉइन लगता था। एक रिपोर्ट ऐसा बनाना था हमें that we need to submit to a pharma regulatory in the यूरोपियन कंट्री, और वो लोग के रूल्स बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट होते हैं कि हर एक डेटा आना चाहिए। तो हमने तो हर एक चीज को नॉर्मलाइज फॉर्म में डाला था, तो 700 टेबल हो रहे थे। अब उस 700 टेबल में से क्वेरी लाना बहुत मुश्किल होता था। रिपोर्ट पहले 13 घंटे में आता था, और फिर धीरे 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 3 मंथ 6 मंथ्स ऑप्टिमाइज किया। एसक्यूएल सर्वर तो फेल ही हो चुका था, पोस्टग्रेज एसक्यूएल था जो काम कर गया था, जो इतने नंबर ऑफ जॉइंस अलाउ करता है। अब इतने नंबर ऑफ जॉइंस पे हमने क्या किया कि एक प्रॉब्लम आ रहा था, जॉइन ऑर्डरिंग प्रॉब्लम। सपोज आप टेबल ए है जिसमें 10,000 रो है, टेबल बी है जिसमें 100 रो है, और टेबल सी है जिसमें 1 रो है। तो अगर आप ए और बी को ज्वाइन करोगे तो 10,000 इंटू 100 आपका पूरा कैलकुलेशन होगा। लेकिन आप ऐसा करो ना कि पहले सी और बी को ज्वाइन करो, 100 इंटू 1, तो आपका कैलकुलेशन वहां पे मिनिमाइज हो जाएगा, और फिर 1 ये जो आंसर आता है उसको ए के साथ करो। तो आपका ज्वाइन ऑर्डर ऐसे रखो कि आपका ओवरऑल कॉस्ट मिनिमाइज हो जाए। अब ज्वाइन का कॉस्ट लगता है, मुझे काम था ज्वाइन का कॉस्ट को मिनिमाइज करना। यूजुअली जेनेटिक एल्गोरिथम यूज करता है पोस्टग्रेज एसक्यूएल टू ये ज्वाइन ऑर्डर करने के लिए, बट उससे क्वेरी 7 घंटे में रन हो, एंड इतना तो कोई क्लाइंट वेट नहीं करेगा। Then after we came to a solution of using a meta heuristic algorithm, that is harmony search algorithm, and using that particular algorithm हमारे काफी कुछ बैलेंस हो रहा था कॉस्ट फंक्शंस पे, and we were successfully able to run the query in 25 months. That was the last thing, and the client was satisfied that okay, for a report this big 25 minutes is very good. So there are many real life applications of heuristic that we don't know until we apply and go into it. The thing is that we need to understand how important at this particular moment. When I was studying AI, I was never knowing that I'm also going to use heuristic in my company. When I was, मुझे तो ऐसा लगा कि every day I just need to write a query and run it. But the thing is that when I was given a task to make a query across 700 tables, it was not. And no doubt, the time was provided to me, 6 months, 8 months. The result, we have to give it to them. So these are the application. These are used in optimization. A join ordering problem like this needs to be optimized with there. You can join any number of tables, but in which order you will join so that you can get the minimum minutes. That is important as a developer. So you just concentrate. Don't take these things also as lightly. This has various applications in the industry that we are not aware of. Nobody is using unless you are just stuck at BTech or you are just need to do at this at master's level. Just a second. Sir. Okay. So I am clear with the application of heuristic function and heuristic function. Then we will move towards this problem characteristics. This is the last topic of your book, that is 2.3 and problem characteristics. Is its named. What you have to do in it. See, there would be a problem given to you in your exam, the one similar to this one. Okay. See, in exam, I will give you this problem, water. And I'll ask you that analyze each of them or analyze water jug problem with the respect to the 7 characteristics. So I'll explain you 7 characteristics and a problem will be given to you. And just you need to analyze that which characteristics of the problem is satisfied or not. A few examples: decomposable not, undone or not. So when I will be explaining you this characteristics, decomposable or ignorable, I will give you 1 or 2 examples to make you understand the whole concept. But in exam, you are posed with any of the problems that are listed as artificial intelligence problem in your book. And I will ask you that now analyze this problem, make a table like this and give me the solution. So you need to analyze the problem and write down whether properties are satisfied, characteristics are satisfied or not. And if they are not or satisfied, then what is the reason for that? Okay. So that is need to be done. So this kind of question will be. Nobody is going to ask you to write down the 7 characteristics and explain. The theory portion will not be asked to you. You will be just given the problem name that analyze water jug problem on 7 characteristics. And you need to give me the analysis of water jug problem based on 7 characteristics. Of course, this document for your reference and for your learning will be shared with you after my lecture so that you can cope up with it. But in exam, you cannot expect the problems to come from this only. You can expect it will come from your book, but you cannot expect that this 5 problems would be only there. Okay, this is the work I have prepared. So it is up to you that what use you make it up for it. Okay, for your reference, it is prepared only. So is the problem decomposable? The first characteristic. That first characteristics on which we need to analyze our problem is that the problem is decomposable or not. By the means of this characteristic, it means that if I am having a problem, can I divide that problem into smaller portions and I can solve that smaller portions individually or not? That is the thing you get from problem is decomposable or not. That means कि आपके पास अगर कोई बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है तो क्या उस प्रॉब्लम को आप छोटे पार्ट्स में डिकम्पोज कर सकते हो? कैन यू ब्रेक द होल प्रॉब्लम इनटू स्मॉलर पार्ट्स एंड देन you can solve that smaller parts individually or not? That comes in this particular thing, is problem decomposable or not? First example, here in your book you are given an integration problem. So you are supposed to integrate x square plus this equation, x square plus 3x plus sine square x plus into cos square x dx. Now, if you need to solve this as a whole, it will be quite difficult. But breaking down this problem into 3 portions, decomposing the larger problem into smaller portions will get you the solution early. So decomposing it, you can solve integration of x square dx easily. You can solve the integration of 3x dx easily. And then you need to have a procedure to solve this particular problem, that is integration of sine square x into cos square x dx. Okay. So the two parts, this x square dx and 3x dx, are independent of the third part, so that we can here decompose the problem into the smaller parts. Now tell me, can we do the same thing for the chess? Is chess problem decomposable or not? कौन आंसर करेगा? कौन आंसर करेगा? कोई तो बोलो कि किसी को मुझे जवाब ही नहीं देना, ऐसा तो मैंने क्या कर दिया? और आज 55 स्टूडेंट्स क्यों? बाकी सबको क्या हुआ? वैक्सीन लेने चलेगी क्या एक साथ? बोलो, कोई तो बोलो। 89 नंबर नहीं है, चलो आज 124 प्रेजेंट है कुछ बोलने के लिए। चलो ध्रुवल बोलो।
हाँ मैम।
चेस डिकम्पोजेबल प्रॉब्लम है या नहीं है? सुन भी रहे थे मुझे कि मैंने बोला 125 तब जगे नींद में से, पावर नैप में से?
ना એવું કશું જ નતું।
हाँ तो बोलो, चेस प्रॉब्लम इज डिकम्पोजेबल और नॉट?
नहीं।
चलो सही आंसर दिया। चेस प्रॉब्लम इज नॉट डिकम्पोजेबल प्रॉब्लम। ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि हम बोले आधा गेम मैं इस साइड से खेलता हूँ, आधा गेम तू उस साइड से खेल, फिर हम लोग एक सॉल्यूशन ला देते। दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल इन द चेस प्रॉब्लम। 4 प्लेयर वो गेम नहीं खेल पाएंगे, या फिर ऐसा नहीं है कि? The second problem characteristics is, can solution step 3 ignored or undone? Let us understand with the example of chess again. See, if I take a move in chess, as a white player, I'm taking the first move and I have made the move now. Now, second thing, from the black player has taken a move and which is causing me to lose. So can I undo my steps at that time? कि नहीं मुझे नहीं चाहिए, मैं ये रिमूव कर लेता, तू अपना रिमूव कर। ऐसा हो सकता है चेस में?
नहीं हो सकता।
No, the solution steps over here in chess game is not undone. We cannot ignore any particular step in chess game, or we cannot undo it. But in 8 puzzle problem, for example, if I am sliding this 6 slide down, okay, and then after a few times, if I think that I'm not going to get the answer, I can slide it back. That is possible. In this 8 puzzle problem, if you are sliding 7 also to the right side, and I think that I will be not getting the answer at this time, then what happens? You can slide 7 back to its position. So you can undo the steps over here in 8 puzzle problem. Why? This is a 1-player game and that was 2-player game. So in 2-player games, if you have moved, you cannot move back. Once you have taken the move, then next thing is that you cannot take it back. If you are considering a computer game, then you can do it. But in real life, if you are doing, the opponent will allow you to do that thing if you have make a move once. No, in real life, if you have make a move once, then the opponent will not allow you to go back. That is the situation over there. So you cannot undo the steps over here. You cannot ignore the steps in chess game. But you can do that thing in 8 puzzle problem. You can undo the step, sliding the slide down, and you can slide it back to its original position. That is possible in 8 puzzle problem. Now about the third thing is ignoring. Ignoring I will explain you with the help of example theorem proving. See, everybody in 10th standard used to prove the theorem. Everybody was writing something different in that particular book. See, I was solving in 5 to 6 steps. You some were solving in 8 steps. Few steps I would be skipping it out. There was 3 methods to solve that particular theorem. Some was using the standard method, some was using the cheat method, some was using the shortcut method. So the methods were quietly, what we can say is total when we were solving that particular problem. So many of us would have ignored the steps. Even while solving this equation, any equation, few would substitute the value, few would directly give it answer. So many of the steps in our real life, when we were posed with some problem, we ignore many of the steps. We don't follow each and every step. We just sometimes we directly reach to the solution rather than going for the steps. And that is what we get in this particular thing, ignorable. Okay. So you can characterize problems on 3 different classes. Ignorable, one I explained with the theorem proving. The second was recoverable, that was 8 puzzle. And the third one is irrecoverable, that is the chess. That means in which solution steps cannot be undone. In recoverable, you can do solution steps can be undone. And in theorem proving, solution steps can be ignored. If you are not writing few steps, then it is perfectly fine. Clear with these 2 characteristics, students?
Yes, ma'am.
स्पीड में जा रही हूँ तो स्पीड कम करो. अगर किसी को ऐसा लग रहा है मैम स्पीड में जा रहे हैं तो I'll just reduce myself. Okay. The third characteristics is that universally predictable or not. See, for 8 puzzle problem, okay, we can say what is the solution. It is universally predictable. Only one player is playing the game. I am playing the game, I am going to win. But the same thing you can say with the chess. I am making a move and the opponent makes a move. So your winning and losing of game totally depends on the opponent. So chess is a kind of problem whose solution is not predictable. Because I am making a move, I think I am going to win. But then the opponent makes another move and I suddenly lost the game. Checkmate. So the whole solution of the problem depends over here in chess game on 2 entities, on both the players. You don't know what the other player is going to make a move. So you cannot predict the solution for that. But in our 8 puzzle problem, you know this is my start and end goal step. Ultimately, I am playing and I am going to win. I have to do it. This particular problem I have to solve it. So the by means of is the product of universal is the problem universally predictable or not? Is this that I can predict the solution or not? Clear, students? Clear? Yes. Now I'll give you a task. Okay. So out of this particular chess, water jug, 8 puzzle problem, Tower of Hanoi also used, and traveling salesman problem. Now you are given 10 minutes. I'm keeping the lecture until this because in the first lecture I was able to teach until this only. So it might be repetition for you at the 3:30. So now what you do is that I'm giving you a task for 10 minutes. After I'm taking the attendance, then you can leave the lab also. Okay. Sorry, lecture also if you want to leave the lecture. So 5 more minutes and then after you can leave the lecture. Let me explain you what you need to do. I have explained you chess problem, water jug problem, 8 puzzle problem, traveling salesman and tower of. Analyze these problems on basis of this characteristic. In your book, you write it down. Okay? Whether they are decomposable, ignorable, and predictable. These things you need to do. And I'm giving you 10 minutes, and right after 5 minutes, I will take your attendance. After taking attendance, I will notify you. Okay? So wait until then. Just go, and if anybody wants to present me with the solution, they can. Then we will verify with the document I have made. 10 minutes, do your work. I have downloaded the attendance list at this particular moment. It is 57 students present in my class. If you want to leave the lecture, you can leave. Be present at 2:50. At 2:50, I will be starting a lecture in the same team, and you all have to present, and I will complete this chapter. This topic won't be taught to you in the regular lecture.
Okay, ma'am.